Hi, and welcome to the second half of Against the Fey Queen, the continuing muddled playtest of an attempt to do Against the Future Conspiracy using Shane of the Gauntlet's amazing The Fate of the Fey Queen scenario for Fate of Cthulhu. In the last session, our players visited the Koschei Mafia's secret dark stronghold, a tiny unconstructed development on an island off the coast of Long Island, which is an island off an island, now that I think about it. But that is appropriate for a man who keeps the soul inside of a hair, inside of a needle, inside of a duck, on an island in a box. And these guys managed to kill the Piper, the notorious occult hitman of the Koschei Mafia, rescue Michael Ender's young present-day brother, Peter, who, now he's been rescued twice from certain death, not just the dancing plague, but also, the supernatural mob that his future brother has gotten him tangled up in without his knowledge. And yeah, they stole the duck, which is now back with them at the safe house. And they pretty much wiped out the Koschei Mafia that was on there, leaving behind just a few confused goons. So it was a very low heat operation. They have not, used said soul, but it is two-hand, so Koschei the Endless can perhaps be brought to an end. Now, for anybody who is watching, one of our players is dual calling at the moment, and so will join us when they are able to. So pay no attention to the man in the bottom left corner. And yeah, let's take it from here. So I am using the rules for additional investigation, as pointed out from the original book on page something and 2. But essentially, you guys all get an investigate scene now, and that investigate scene is up to you entirely. Do you want to? This is the point where, you may want to use a notes section of your keeper, or write it down on a piece of paper, because perhaps you might want to ask about what's directly in front of you. You might want to ask about future operations, but this is your intel gathering phase before you've settled on an operation, and then you go into the hard details of the operation with your next intel gathering phase, is the way I'm imagining it. Because I do think that I've left you sort of struggling with your future knowledge without much, which lacks a lot of specificity, basically, on the previous scenarios. So with that in mind, I'll start off with the person who should be the most familiar with the system and the mechanics and all of the fictional positioning. Alan.
Hello, my name is Alan. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Michael Enders, who is a time-traveling technical expert who also... oh, did I swap law out? I was going to swap law out, wasn't it? Because we agreed it would be good. I'll come back to that. Anyway.
I was going to say that's the thing we'll do in a different playtest. We'll just leave it as it is for now.
Frankly. Okay. Yeah. So yes, I've come back. My motivation for coming back from 10 or so years hence is that my younger brother, as Will has said, Michael Enders, died of the dancing plague.
Peter Enders.
Now, Peter Enders, sorry, I'm Michael Enders, beg your pardon. And so, yeah, we have protected him from that because we've stopped the dancing plague from beginning. But again, as Will said, it meant that he's been drawn to the attention of the Fey Queen's pawns, both supernatural and non-supernatural, I think. And so I ended up having to jump from a window with him in my arms last time to get him away from the Pied Piper assassin, leaving Felicity Quinn to deal with the Piper, and in fact leaving the rest of the team to deal with everything else, because it is becoming clear that Michael is here pretty much entirely for his brother. Humanity is a different question.
Well, fortunately, Felicity paid the Piper his due in the form of a bullet. So next up we have Felicity Quinn herself.
I would like to point out that it was not just the Piper that I paid, but also the 3 goons that had you surrounded when you were standing outside the house with your brother in your arms, unable to do anything. You're welcome.
Is that, in fact, a thing that Felicity is actively pointing out to Michael Enders on the way back?
look,
Because I'm willing to go straight into a seek relief roll right here if you wish, Bucket.
do I need to actually seek relief right now?
You're on 3 stress.
I don't feel like I need to seek relief just yet.
Okay.
But yes, that's absolutely something that I'd be pointing out. It's like, look, I get that he's your brother and everything, but still.
This was definitely the previously on, where they don't use clips of the previous thing, but instead they use like cut material from the ending, where you were having that exact argument as Rook drove the boat away from the island with a duck quacking underneath your arm.
Oh, I'm absentmindedly petting the duck. But yeah, I'm Felicity Quinn. I have been nicknamed Reaper. It was not one that I chose. It's one that was given to me because I'm heavily tattooed, and every single tattoo represents someone that I have killed. So yeah, there's a lot of red in that ledger.
Nice.
As it were.
And I see you've changed your anchor from the quite remote and quite hard for me to mess around with.
Jacob Cohen.
Yes,
the
Mossad assassin
who taught me everything I knew. Yeah. To Lucas.
Yeah.
My brother. Yeah. Also the namesake of the duck, but because of course I've given the duck a name. I think that having seen my cohorts on a job, on like a wet job, I now trust them a little bit more than I might otherwise have, even if one of them did a runner out of a 2nd-story window. So, maybe it's one of those things that I've actually mentioned now.
Maybe that's the thing, right? Like, I do the same for my brother kind of thing, right? Like,
I mean, if I knew that Lucas was in the kind of trouble that Peter appeared to have been in, I would have done a lot more.
Well, that's nice to see a more human side from Felicity Quinn Reaper, a human side that doesn't involve snogging Paul Giamatti.
Well, I mean, if by more human side you mean like killing 3 people in rapid succession, sure.
Yeah.
But
and I just wanted to ask before we moved on, were there any other changes you wanted to make to your character?
Not just yet.
Okay, you can get back to me on that. Yeah. Okay, and then on to Horst.
I'm Horst, he, him, and I'm playing Professor Vogel. Also he, him. He is an academic focused on like fairy tales, folklore, and so forth. 19th centuries German literature, a little bit of philosophy and mythology. My connection to the conspiracy is my son Holger, who in the future will become a leading figure.
Trollbane, the great hero of the resistance.
The great hero of the resistance. Professor Vogel is anything but. He can, as we have seen in the last episode, kick some ass, but he will pay for a lot of muscle ache and lying in bath for hours to get rid of the pain.
I mean, the benefit of the safe house was Tiger Balm, right?
I'm not sure if we have written that down, but I take it. Yeah, that's about Professor Vogel.
Yeah, and I was curious, what is it you think that Holger does in the present day?
I was wondering about this as well, because he hasn't been featured, and I know that you are eager to put him on a spot.
Cool. Well, we don't have to answer that now if you don't have an answer to it, but I'm going to keep nudging you to about that move that allows you to invoke things about your anchor, so that we can flesh out a bit more about Holger, and I can throw the present day one under the bus like I threw the future one under the bus.
Just one question: how old would he be?
He'd be 10 years younger than whatever he was in the future when he got shot by Alexandra Koschei.
So my character is about 50, I think.
I mean, I'd say he's probably like 30. He's probably about Michael's age, to be honest.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Maybe a little bit older, but not by much,
Yeah.
Michael is, of course, a grad student. I think we discussed in a previous episode that Holger was in some way connected to Delta Green before the resistance, before the end of the world, and Delta Green evaporated as the federal government suddenly began swearing allegiance to Fey queens and princes and princesses. So perhaps Holger is something like that, like adjacent. You've played enough Delta Green, you can work out how Holger might be. But we have established, of course, that Professor Vogel's stipulate, that future Holger was always very clear that his father knew all of the answers to these things, and that present day Professor Vogel is very clear that he doesn't want his son to get killed again, like you've told him. So I like all of that. But anyway, with all that out of the way, let's return back around again to Michael for an investigation scene. As what do you want to do? What intel do you want to gather? And I mean that purely in the terms in the non-mechanical sense of intel.
I think that what Michael wants to do is to he needs to check on the soul. He needs to know that we have Koschei's soul inside the hair duck out of box. Yeah. So I think that's about using law, harness the dark, to investigate, to scry the duck.
Yeah, I think so.
To see if I can just sense the soul and maybe ask some questions about it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, like
I need to know it's in there. That's the
yeah
necessary to proceed, I suppose.
And of course, that's what Michael's doing in fiction. Metagame wise, of course, we know that I would not have been so cruel as to send you against something. So, but yes, this will allow you to ask some questions about said soul and what you may do with it.
Okay, so harness dark, I will be the beneficiary. I will spend a point of stress. I will mark stress, roll a d6 and add my stress dice.
Well, so you're rolling harness the dark here with your law. I mean, in the way this is phrased, does that not mean that you also get to add the bonus die because you do have law as a skill?
I think that's a problem with law. I think as it now stands.
Okay.
I think that's pushing it too far.
Okay, I'm willing to go with that because I also agree, but I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Okay.
So expertise plus the core dice and the stress dice, rolling 3 dice to investigate. Stress goes up by 1 because I've got a 5 on the stress dice. So stress has gone from 1 to 4 in the first activity of the evening. Yeah, so I get what's necessary to proceed and 1 question.
So what's necessary to proceed is that, yes, this is Koschei's soul. It's embedded inside of a hair, inside of a needle, and you can see, as you reach out with your senses and you make the offerings and you find, this duck quacks in the middle of the dusted back room of this safe house underneath the New York University, that you can sense the needle. And I'll give you the bare minimum, all I'd say is the minimum is that that this needle, this hair in this needle is temporary, is a temporary vessel. If you were to simply destroy it, it would not destroy the soul. The soul would simply go to something else. Possibly to Koschei himself, possibly just to another prepared phylactery. Now I have.
So it's not just a question of destroying the Horcrux then?
No. And in fact, I will, as you contemplate destroying the duck and the hare and all in one go, you can feel that something else has already laid claim to this soul. It will not go to hell. You can't send it to hell because that soul, the only way to, I'll give you the whole thing on this one.
I'll ask my question then.
Yeah.
Because I'm owed a question and I've only got one question, which is, what is the best way to destroy the soul?
The best way to destroy the soul is to stab Koschei with the needle, reunite his soul with his body,
Oh,
and place
God.
which will break the claim that the Fey Queen has laid upon her knight. So basically, you have the weapon here. Now,
Okay.
the best way, maybe some other ritual that allows you to split a hair, let's say. Because there's no reason it has to stay within the needle.
No. Yeah, I suppose what I need to be clear here, because what I thought you were telling me was that if I simply do an exorcism, if you like, to cast the soul out,
Yes.
I won't control where it goes.
You won't control where it goes now.
And I'm also working on the assumption that if I destroy the duck, destroy the hair, destroy the needle.
But it's just the needle that matters, really.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's getting the needle, I suppose. But that if I destroy the needle, that is going to free the soul.
It's going to free the soul to
do whatever is planned for it. Yeah.
The way to get around that is to, is to force the soul back into Koschei, basically.
Yeah. And then kill him when they're united.
When they're bounded together. When they're bound together, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not easy.
Big thanks to the Monster Man podcast for their episode of Leeches, where they discuss the folklorish origins of liches as Koschei the Endless, and then say, well, you don't destroy his phylactery, you stab him with his needle and it reunites the soul. And I was like, oh, perfect. What the universe provides. So that's what Michael has been doing with young Lucas, the duck. So Quinn, was there any investigative stuff that you'd like to do?
Michael, do you share this with us?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Not a problem.
In that case, my investigative action is to find a veterinarian.
Hey, you know what? I don't think that's a very hard thing to do, frankly. I don't even think that requires a roll or anything whatsoever, because at veterinarians, you could just ring them up out of the phone book.
Just a legal veterinarian.
I mean, removing a needle from
there's no such thing as a mob vet.
Mob vet.
God, Michael.
Yeah, you can definitely get that needle out of. I mean, if you go to a vet, of course you can. Now,
I just walk in and put the duck up on the exam table and said, my pet duck swallowed one of my needles. I was sewing.
And the woman behind the counter looks you up and down and says, okay, we can book you in for this afternoon, I guess. That'll be, $500 for a surgery for a duck. I don't know. Do we have a duck surgeon? Okay.
Look, a waterfowl surgeon should be able to handle it.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, Glenda, you won't believe what this crazy chick's just brought in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Yeah. And cool.
I will sit in there. I'll sit in the waiting room to wait for the duck.
Cool. Roll for stress. No. You have you successfully extricate the needle from the duck. Now, what I'd like you to do is perhaps roll to do something else, just to see whether or not they talk about the crazy tattooed lady who insisted on having the needle back after it was retracted from the woman, from the duck.
All righty. Well, it's my grandmother's needle. Of course I'm going to want it back. And do me a favor, remind me which page has the
basic. The page has it. Sorry, I should put this into the thing, because I do tend to shuffle the lines and veils off down the side once we start playing. There's a dice roller.
All righty, thank you.
I did think maintain your cover, Alan, but there's no real risk of them fleeing or.
All righty, so I don't think deadly comes into play here.
I don't think any of your skills come into play. However, actually, I would actually allow larceny if you say that you're going to give them a substantial bribe.
Oh, of course. So expertise comes into play,
Hmm?
and I'll roll the stress dice, or the stress die, I should say. Look at that. 5, and unfortunately, it's on the stress dice, so I roll for stress.
Mm-hmm. No, your stress die automatically goes up since you've included it, and it tied.
All righty. So I'm a little stressed out.
Well, it's stressful having your pet in surgery, and we've all been, well, those of us who've had them know how stressful it is. But you succeed with no obvious complication or benefit, so heat does not go up as you know, because some vets are mob vets who just patch up people rather than animals. So this doesn't go around the thing. So with that in mind, that's Felicity's. I guess her investigation action is retrieving said needle without compromising little Lucas, who can now join your safe house. Let's hope that if your safe house is hit, someone manages to grab the carrier. And Professor Vogel, how about you? Would you like to investigate either Koschei, his soul, and the folklores around it, the Vorpal blade, where that might be, or what's going on with these servants of the Queen in this small town that's about to be a problem?
This is more like the free wheeling round.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would like to try to exploit his what is it, compulsion?
Okay.
Or trying to find a way to do so. So I would like to investigate any kind of lovers that the Fey Queen might have beside Koschei.
Besides Koschei, I like that. So you're going to look up the folklore of the Fey Queen's
love life.
love life, yeah, the legends about the great loves of the Fey Queen. Yeah. Okay, so if you'd like to roll investigate, and I think as we've established your corporate is kind of your academia background.
Mm-hmm. So academia will apply. What's the thing? It's the expertise, and I will include the stress die as well.
Well, you do want your expertise back, right? And it's another tie on the stress die. So your stress goes up, your expertise comes back into action.
Nice.
I have just marked that expertise back for you because I was literally looking at that box as we spoke. And yes, so on a 4, you get the minimum you need to proceed, and I'll also answer one question. So the Fey Queen, I mean, what are you hoping that the Fey Queen has other lovers that you could threaten, that you could like manipulate Koschei with?
Yeah, spread rumors or contact them somehow. I don't know, fake records of the Fey Queen having an affair or something.
It's said that long ago in the earliest annals of history, that the Fey Queen, or a figure that's believed perhaps by some to be the Fey Queen, appeared in ancient Egypt and was the consort of the immortal pharaoh known as Nyarlathotep.
And then I have one question.
You can ask me anything else, or
could I ask about Nyarlathotep other than how to pronounce it correctly? Does he have like an avatar? Like according to folklore, is he still around?
Well, according to folklore, Nyarlathotep has many masks. and even the pharaoh who ruled the kingdom, the sunken, fallen kingdom that was stricken from history, all but the scantest records, was but one aspect of the darkness, the laughing void, the creeping darkness.
Interesting. The laughing void, the creeping darkness. He who has many masks, or wears many masks. Thanks. I think that Professor Vogel probably, do we have a bed in the, or like a mattress or something?
Do you? You tell me.
I think so. I think so. That there's at least he stole a mattress from the dormitory of the students thing, and he's lying there, rubbing his elbow with a tiger balm, and every time he reads something about the laughing void, and he makes some he curses in German.
Nice. So that's the end of a round of investigation. I guess my immediate question is, though, for Michael, what did you do with Peter?
I was gonna ask you that. Now, just to explain to anyone watching that this is by way of a playtest, and Will and I talked about the fact that in the first 4 sessions, Michael displayed a compulsion. And what we talked about was how we could make that mechanically a little bit bitier by perhaps forcing anyone who has an enchantment, who comes from the future via fairy, to take a compulsion from the supernaturals list. And so simply to test how this goes, I've added mortal fear as my compulsion. And so what I'd like to do is to have a brief scene. Now, I just need to remind myself about, yes, under NYU. So, yeah, okay. So presumably there is some kind of stairwell going down to this safe location. And so I think a scene there between Michael and his brother, because I think about the only thing he said before I jumped out the window was, Michael?
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to seek relief from the horror by being nasty to my brother, indulging my compulsion for mortal fear, because what I'm going to do is to say, I'm not Michael. Does Michael have these? And display the dew claws.
As you're pushing him up the stairs, right, and you tell him to shut the, like, just get away, go back to home, don't talk to anyone about this, don't do it. And he's going like, Michael, what happened to you, man? Like, last time I saw you, we were in, like, what happened? They grabbed me from there. There was music and I just came, and then, what the fuck, man? Like, what happened to you? You look so different.
I'm not Michael.
But you're my brother, man. I'd recognize my brother anyways, okay? I know you'd always
threaten him with the dew claw.
Okay, roll to seek relief.
How can this go badly? So I will reduce stress by 1. Desperately need that. Roll the stress dice and see how this goes. That is a 6.
Oof, so it was really worth it.
Look at that, really worth it. Reduce stress by another 1, down to my minimum. But
they are an NPC. Mark Heat and agree with Control how this comes to the conspiracy's attention. I mean, I think the obvious thing is that he's a very panicked kid, and there is a missing persons report filed on him by one Michael Enders in the present day. So bringing him
I've marked the heat.
Oh, perfect. Yes. So on to Felicity for a round of Seek Relief. We're going to flash back for Paul's Seek Relief later on.
Sure. I think at this point, like, as Michael's kind of coming back in, I'm just like leaning against the wall and the stairwell saying, well, you're a right fucking asshole to him, considering you almost blew the entire op.
Don't come between me and my brother.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I get it. Somebody tried to harm my brother. There is no end to the blood I would shed. But that stunt you pulled, grabbing him and jumping out the window, you went out of the frying pan and into the fucking fire. What the hell are you going to do? Drop him while there's a bunch of gunfire? You got to think strategically and tactically.
You don't know what it's like. You have no idea. You think that you are you think that you know what bloodshed is about. You know nothing, Felicity Quinn. Nothing. Reaper did. Reaper knew. One day you'll know. Then we have this conversation.
Yeah, this Jon Snow shit was done like 3 years ago. Seriously? And I just roll my eyes.
And I bet you Michael like furrows his brow, reaches back through like 10 years of horror and bloodshed, and goes like, "Oh fuck yeah, pop culture. That was the thing." Was that how you were looking to seek relief, Puckett?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
I believe that falls under treating. Hold on.
Behave badly if you verbally or physically abuse someone.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's roll for that, and we will see how sincere Michael was about that rejoinder and how much it just shook him.
Oof.
That's a 2.
Yep.
The other person pities you and you are ashamed. Your stress goes down by 1, but you can no longer use your expertise until stress goes up again, as Michael delivers that rejoinder about the horrors to come. I suppose it makes you wonder what happens to Lucas in the world that's to come. Nothing good. So, Professor Vogel.
Well, after Control nudged me a little bit, I would like to reveal something about my anchor.
Nice. About Holger.
About Holger. And
Holger Vogel, who I keep wanting to say Hogel Vogel.
That's very childish of you. I work my way through these prompts one at a time. Every time I reveal something, it will be the first answer, then the second, or is it I reveal everything at once?
No, the way it's written is work your way through these prompts. I will be honest with you, where I differ from the rules as written is I would just say you use any of those prompts in any order you wish, frankly.
Okay. Yeah, well, I would like to have them live in the United States, maybe even in New York.
Mm-hmm. I think the where do they live comes from the original jet setting premise to a great extent as well.
Say that again.
The where do they live comes from the original premise of the game as like it could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere
okay. But it makes more sense to be in New York.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'll just have this phrase as tell me something about Holger.
Yeah. So he's in his 30s, and he will have some ass-kicking skills, but that could be, I want to say, is he in academia as well? I could see him as a friendly for Delta Green more than an agent, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that he probably went further fringe afield occulty than I did. I can see him, maybe he's not.
Maybe he's a consultant, an anthropological consultant for the State Department.
Yeah, that is a good idea. So he works for the government in this consultancy role. Yeah, anthropology, I like that. And maybe
I was just thinking of what's the classic non-government roles within Call of Cthulhu, right? Like it's anthropologists. The person who tells you all about the Gath and the Gath Valley. why you should go
Exactly.
there. Yeah,
Or why you shouldn't.
yeah. So he's an anthropologist. So roll on the.
What do I roll?
You roll just one die. You always just roll one dice and a seek relief. It doesn't matter which one particularly.
It is a 2.
That is a 2. So we have marked your anchor and now placing them on to the target list.
Makes sense.
So I think perhaps, you know, I think the way that Holger is on there is just because simply you, Professor Vogel, are on there. I mean, some people certainly do remember seeing a old man with glasses, a nice smile, wearing a tweed jacket at a rave that had multiple people where someone died. And it was all confused. And one of the only things that stands out in the eyewitness accounts is that this strange professor was in the middle of the whole thing, because everybody else was glamored to the eyeballs, right? So perfect. Okay. Okay, so that takes us up to, that's all of our seek reliefs done. I will remind Professor Vogel that one of his friends is currently blown. Kasia Lewandowski, librarian who could tell you about weird shit. To all, all appearances, somebody came and paid her a very unpleasant visit in her little discreet shop down an alleyway in Manhattan. And yeah, so I guess it's now time to discuss what leads you want to pursue this session. And I will hear a pitch from Alan first.
We need the whole point of going after the island fastness of Koschei was to end Koschei. Now we have to confront Koschei with his soul needle.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer for Michael.
I mean, to give you a bit more insight, Koschei has beyond his own presence. If you didn't kill Koschei, you could stop Koschei's plans and not kill him, which would mean that Koschei would then be, an adversary that you had to face in the final thing alongside the Fey Queen. But if you kill Koschei at this point, then you will stop his plans as well, because you are not that far along the timeline yet. So, Professor Vogel? Or Felicity?
Let's kill Koschei.
Kill Koschei. I mean, he did kill,
Killed my boss.
After your boss, yeah.
One question. So, if we put his soul back inside him, that renders him vulnerable, correct?
Yes.
If that soul were to be put inside him simultaneously as the killing blow, like say if we put the needle in an arrow or a crossbow bolt or a bullet.
I think that the needle itself has to penetrate rather than be contained within something.
Okay, so the needle has to penetrate and then we can kill him. Got it. Okay, let's kill Koschei.
But a skilled magician may be able to transfer that to something else with the right action. But
I was thinking of mounting it on the end of an umbrella.
Yeah, polonium style. Yeah. And Holger, Professor Vogel, I think we know that you want to kill Koschei because you've had it described to you in graphic detail how at some point, probably within the next year, within this coming year, Koschei is going to open the doorway into summer and is going to fire through it and mortally wound Holger before he can step back in time. So essentially, there is a mid-future, a short-term future Koschei who has perhaps been alerted to time travelers from the future through some sort of mechanism, right? How could that possibly be? It couldn't be the fact that they've taken his soul from his island, right? Maybe it's all a closed circle. But yeah, so I think it's kill Koschei time, right? That's the op. So I'm going to carry on using the power of story here and just wipe out some of the stuff. Here, you have the soul. And given that you've chosen this for your operation, he's going to be the focus, right? Here. And I will give you that where Koschei is now, I'll give you the very basics. Where Koschei is now is in New York. He has returned to New York following the opening of his clinic. And he is currently working on whatever this construction project he has got within the subway tunnels. Now, I will leave it a bit open to you. I don't want to define exactly where he is, because I feel that there is scope for you to choose your window of opportunity within New York, right? One of the reasons that I wanted to set a lot of things in New York with a Russian mafia is because it lets you do all of the Daredevil, Punisher / other sort of nasty scenes, right, with nameless goons coming around. But yeah, so I would say that looking at the time, we've got 10 minutes to go before the hour, which is in theory when Paul's able to join us. I would push on just to try and get stuff done, but I think now is a good time to take a break. We can turn back and we can start off with the start of our briefing stage of the operation with Paul in Hock and bring him up to speed with anything. Yeah. So I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Yeah.
Awesome. See you then.
Mr. Clock, winds up from his stupor in the corner and comes around to rejoin the table. So we're dealing with killing Alexandra Koschei. And the leads here are he is back in New York. Oh my God, I hate when you put the strike through on and you can't get rid of it. There we go. He's back in New York working on his subway project for the city, which you guys will know is when he opened the doorway into summer. So possibly at some point in the near future, he's going to shoot through that door, nearly take out the entire party, but actually just take out the leader, Holger, in 2032. So I'm going to put as the operational objective, kill Koschei, because I think that's a given at this point. We know he's the focus of it. Now, you know what, Mr. Clock, where? And we do this at the broadest point, where do you think he is? He's somewhere in New York at the moment. Where do you want the focus? Where do you think you're going to plan to hit him at?
I want to hit him on our terms.
I think hitting him on your terms is, you do have his compulsion, which is his soul. He does want his soul back. He's not happy with it being in your hands.
I thought that would be something that we could draw him to us.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking as Gilgamesh seems to be our divining master. I don't know how we can write this into the operation thing, but do you think if you communed with Baba Yaga, she could give us some information that maybe he would think either she's alive or it would be something good enough to draw him to where we want to fight him?
Oh, Baba Yaga's straight to hell, I'm afraid.
Oh, so we couldn't convene with her mystically, her soul.
I think if you'd done that in the previous round of intel gathering, that I put on the table while you were on the call, perhaps. But at this point, she's
Because you've marked that as something we've irrevocably lost
she's
because of
dead.
you've marked the doom clock. Is that the rationale?
Yeah, because she's dead. If she'd been alive, that was 100% what she was meant to be. I'm a bit reluctant to then say she's dead. You can just speak to her spirit about it, kind of thing. She was a immortal sorceress. I don't think the devil's letting her out anytime soon, basically.
Phone call?
Quick phone call. Everyone gets one, right? To the lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to fight him on our terms. I mean, it seems stupid going into the subway. So we've got his soul. That's his compulsion. I think we should compulse him. Don't know if that's
Compel.
the word. Compel. That's it. Yes. So a good place, Central Park. You know, it's a really good place to kill people. People have been doing it for hundreds of years there. You know.
Yeah. This is how the origins of the Punisher get started in this universe, right? Is that the Koschei Mafia gunned down his family in the crossfire in Central Park? Okay. So I think I'll declare that as that's where you want it to be, right? So public, would that be public, official, residential? I don't know if there is a park. It doesn't matter. We can just do public and park, Botanic Garden, Central Park. Okay. And I think the act of luring him there is going to be a preparatory action. Do something else, which I'll come to. Well, you know what? I think that action is just defined it all else, because we know that Koschei comes automatically with the Koschei Bratva, as always. However, I think that we get up to the point of nameless paramilitary pawns at this point, his elite circle. So, with that in mind, why don't we have you launch off with a prep roll, taking a slight break from the mechanical things to see, or
I mean, the only tricky bit about that is if Paul preps something, then that inevitably will narrow the range of investigation that we're going to be able to fill in. See what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, you are setting an ambush for someone. This is how, I guess, the prep action there is how much he swallows the bait, I suppose, right? But
yeah, it's just we've got an opportunity to shape the environment.
True.
Through our investigation.
Okay, so why don't we leave that until the last roll then? Yeah.
Because also, if we know that it's going to work, then we don't have to investigate. We could just do more preps.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I'm going to play this is that the Central Park, you are going to get, if your plan is to lure him to Central Park with his compulsion, it is to some extent going to work. It's whether or not he calls in like his corrupt FBI friend and just drops a bomb on the place where you're supposed to be, knowing that his soul will be just destroyed in the blast, or whether he shows up in person to get it, right? Like, it's how easily you get, how much you get him to swallow that bait, basically. Because you could just show up with an army and then you'd be screwed, right? But
yeah, I mean, we could investigate what's gonna. If we know he's going to be there, probably best that we investigate what's going to disable his underlings. That might be a better investigation. You know, we've pretty much lined him up, or what other defenses he's got. That could be another good investigation. You know, does he have any other defenses?
What are his powers? That kind of thing. Can you take any preparations against that? That kind of stuff sounds good. Yeah. So, so let's say that somebody's going to have to do a roll at the end to see how well you bluff him into coming here under some sort of good auspices, right? Because the idea is that you're going to bargain with him. Like if you just say him to come here, I'll kill you. That's not a thing that he's going to bite, is he? But if
No, his soul for $1 million.
Exactly. So with that in mind, I'm going to put a pin in Mr. Clock's action for now, if that's fine for that, and then Gilgamesh.
Yes. So currently, all we know is that the elite of the Koschei Bratva are going to be there. I think settling a score with whom? Oh, with the IC. I beg your pardon. Right, the penny's dropped. Okay, then. So I want to. I don't really have the skill set for scouting out a location.
I mean, you do. You just have one dice that you would use rather than two.
Yeah, indeed. And I feel I'm leaning too much on law. So what I want to do is I'm going to reserve for a prep action. Having said that, we should do our investigation first. I don't think I've got anything useful to contribute to that.
To be honest, an ambush is not that much of an investigation, since there are details, as we mentioned, but it is definitely a place where prepping is a fondness to have as well.
I mean, just for what it's worth, the regularity of police patrols might be something that it would be good to know.
Yeah, I mean, you've got authority. Does that cover sort of police? What police are in the area? Are they friendly police or are they corrupt police? Authority might cover that. Can you call on other assets with authority?
Yeah. I suppose I was going to lean on Felicity's larceny to do that. Because what I'm thinking is I need to set some traps that will take out his bodyguards as a prep action using technical.
Nothing can go wrong.
So the investigation.
Alan's deferring for a preparation. That's fine.
We're all going to end up deferring.
Yeah.
Just a minimum, and I feel like this is some kind of operating in the, under the auspices of Professor Vogel. Considering that this is likely to turn into a bloodbath, we want to keep it contained. We want to make sure that there's as few civilians around as possible. So what I'd like to do, and again, if this is a prep thing, let me know. I want to find an ambush site.
Sounds good to me. That's an investigation site, and I would allow you to use your deadly for that purpose in this case.
I mean, we are setting up something specifically to kill somebody, so. All righty, so I will roll deadly, my regular die, and stress. Look at that, 6 on stress die. So my stress goes up. My expertise is now available. And I get some intel.
Get some intel. So mark your intel. And where do you think within Central Park would be a good ambush location? It won't have too much collateral.
So there's lots of underpasses, like lots of bridges going over walkways and things like that. So obviously it would be nice, just for the sake of argument, to get them underneath one of those bridges because we can control entrance and access. But I don't know how feasible that's going to be. So most of it I'm looking at is an out of the way corner of the park.
Hey, there's an underpass that's been blocked off for some time due to reconstruction works. Yeah, that seemed like a fair thing for your investigation. You identified a place that is, has been effectively, you're not supposed to go there for quite a while now. So people just have stopped going there out of convenience.
Works for me.
Okay, and you get something extra with that as well.
Okay. Um,
In fact, you get 2 questions here.
okay,
We need the bare minimum.
questions. Okay. Can I declare details?
Yeah.
As part of this? There is a perfect sniper nest.
To an underpass.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if they're halfway underneath it, I can be up there and just like pow. Unless that's too much of a stretch for you.
I think that what it may be is that like there is a small but good window for someone who is outlined specifically against, you know, like when they walk into the underpass, there's going to be a brief moment where, or at some point where they are framed against the background, right?
Of course.
But as soon as it starts to get messy in there, you're not going to be able to tell which silhouette is which silhouette, right? So,
Gotcha.
there is a spot with good visibility
Okay.
on the entrance.
I
mean, I can't think of you having an elevated position on an underpass, essentially.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is just that it's because it's been disused for quite some time, it's under construction and nobody uses it. I think getting out of there will be pretty easy.
One way in, one way out. Well, 2 ways in, you know, 1 exit, 1 entrance, basically. It is an underpass. So are you
Yeah,
saying
it's like once we're out of that underpass, like it's pretty easy for us to just be on city streets, or maybe there's a tunnel or like an some sort of maintenance tunnel that's disused off to the side.
Yeah.
So we don't even have to come back out.
Maintenance tunnel hatch midway. Concealed, let's say, even, you know, because you did say it was disused. So
yeah.
Concealed maintenance hatch midway. Okay. So that's fleshed out a lot of the public, the where there. You have your ambush site where you will meet to exchange your $1 million. So, Professor Vogel.
I will do a prep action as well.
Mm-hmm. Well then, Mr. Clock.
You want me to roll, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, they use your larceny for threatening, or even your trade. You know what, tradecraft.
Spy work, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The spy who skinned my face.
The spy who skinned me.
Yeah.
And you can include stress on this, can't you?
You can indeed. And this will be a do something else, essentially.
Okay. Okay, let's put the stress dice in there. Why not? We have a 5 and not on stress.
You have a 5. Nice. Oh, well, I remember, Puckett, you rolled a 6 before, didn't you? Which is why you marked intel. Racking up the intel again. Can you roll for stress, please?
I already marked stress. It was 6 was the
it
high.
was just the stress die was the highest one. Sorry.
Yes, that's okay.
Perfect. So you get a 5. There is no, you succeed with no obvious complication or benefit. So you know, how do you communicate this to Koschei? You know, we have your soul. We have what you need. It's not in the duck anymore, but we've got it. Do you want it back?
Yeah, I think let's go with a letter. You know, with some pictures of said duck. You know, cutouts in it, and then to a you know, you are to phone this number. You know, if you want your soul back. Yeah, you know, it'll be a burner phone. We'll speak to him, tell him, you know, he'll want some proof of soul, sort of thing. We'll give Yeah. This is it. This is where we want to meet. Come alone. That sort of stuff. $1 million in a duffel bag that he needs to put in the bin by the underpass and wait there for a courier will drop his soul off
on the other side of the underpass, perhaps, right?
Yeah,
like he could drops it up on one side.
The sort of like Gorky Bridge or whatever. Gorky Park. Walk to, you walk to the middle. He'll walk to the middle. Exchange.
In fact, as he says that, he goes, just like Gorky Park. Yeah, nice. Okay. Of course they'll come alone. And then so Gilgamesh.
Yes. I want to I want to find a way of having him go into the underpass, but try to isolate him from his escort. And so
I mean, that if his escort, if he's trying to keep up the pretense of coming alone, his escort won't be directly on his heels.
No, I know, but I don't. They're going to come a running.
Mm-hmm. Should we cleave a plan now, and then people can use their preps to support that plan?
Yeah,
I can contribute my idea, which was to somehow draw his attention to, I don't know, like what's it called? Like a tapestry. I will fake a tapestry with the, what's the guy called? The Laughing Shadow.
Nyarlathotep.
What he said, like kissing the Fae Queen or something.
I mean, just so you know, the Fate of Cthulhu scenario has a trapezohedron of Nyarlathotep, and I don't think any of us managed to say it consistently.
The combination as well.
Yeah. A tapestry of that in the underpass, perhaps?
Yeah, I wanted to hang it, at the entrance of the underpass, at the exact spot. We have discussed that there's this window of opportunity where Reaper can shoot. And if he would stand there, be distracted for a moment, maybe even enraged, that window of opportunity would be a bit bigger. But we still need to have an idea about how to insert the needle, which is probably what Michael has to.
Well, building on what you just said there, Professor Vogel, and what Felicity has already created, Felicity created this sort of hidden entrance. If we hung your distracting tapestry or enraging tapestry over the hidden entrance, Michael could be behind the hidden entrance.
Stab it.
Yeah, maybe while Felicity sort of laying down, distracting fire, maybe either to deal with his entourage or to distract him. Michael can then, my idea was to pull a false face of one of the Bratvar and stab him from behind. But let's build on what you've said. Let's build on what you've said.
So I'm hearing Professor Vogel is to lure him deeper within the trap, basically, like lure him, enrage him, so he's not cautious. He goes straight into that underpass. Felicity's going to get a good shot lined up on him because just to remind you of the mechanics, like stabbing him with the needle will remove his ability, but you will still need to inflict all of the stress on him to kill him, right? So
he's hard as nails, isn't he?
Yeah. It sounds as though there is the missing aspects of this plan is dealing with his escort, which he's inevitably going to have, and actually getting that needle into him. Those are the two missing elements here.
Okay.
Well, let's build on that and see if
let's hear what Alan has.
Buy in.
Because Alan's got a prep action to talk about as well.
I'm just thinking about this. Who is most likely to land a needle on a target? Felicity is, because Felicity has the deadly dice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Felicity's job in this is to land the needle, because if that goes wrong, everything else is moot. That is actually the most important thing.
you know what? I know that you talked about putting it inside of a bullet or whatever, right? And but you know, the needle could just be attached to your dart gun. Because
Well,
I know
yeah.
I said that they're pointless because I don't like the idea of you firing your trank guns and knocking people out. But like, your dart
mean,
gun,
This is perfect trank gun.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I leave the detail to the assassin of how you land a needle on target. Once that's on target, we can blow him to pieces.
True, but can we minimise the destruction? Do we have explosives, or is that your prep?
That's what I'm thinking of my prep.
Always goes to explosives. Okay.
Technical. What is it for?
Yeah. Do we want to distract his? So
Well, no, hang on, because I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track here. Am I right, Felicity, that you are most likely to land a needle on target, however you do it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your principal function, to render him vulnerable. Then anybody can kill him just with main force and enough people.
It's just a question of the escort now, I suppose.
Then, given that we want him in the underpass, and the professor is going to entice him onwards, that suggests explosions in the underpass may put Professor Vogel at least at risk.
Always good to put someone else at risk, isn't it?
No.
Gilgamesh.
Professor Vogel's plan was to have a distracting tapestry.
Oh, I see.
Not to be there himself.
Yeah, I could. I mean, if that makes it more enticing for him, like I don't know, blabber something about the tapestry. Isn't it interesting that?
And
you don't recognize me, Koschei, not in my new mask.
So the thing that's going to get him through that tunnel at pace is the needle, isn't it? So we want somebody in there to entice him on and say, here's your needle. It's not the needle, because the needle's with Felicity.
How about we say the needle's hidden in the tapestry?
Oh. Yeah, so we show somebody just putting the needle in the tapestry and saying, there you go, help yourself.
It will be hung. Retrieve it yourself.
That puts him in a particular location, so Felicity has the best possible shot, attack, whatever.
Yeah.
And that does free me then to just worry about keeping the escort away from the entrance.
Yes, because I'm worried that he could send a minion to do it. So therefore, we do need to deal with the escort.
Prep action. I'll do the explosives as Paul throws. I'll do the explosives on the fly. The prep action is to set wards on the entrance to the underpass that prove it's him.
That prove that it's Koschei. That only Koschei can enter.
Yes. So I'll bar it to mortals.
You'll bar it to mortals. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds
or
good
at least
to me.
at one end, because we want to be able to leave at the other end, conceivably.
Yes.
Remember, we've got the Felicity created the exit.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay then. But a prep action is an action, so I can't do both ends.
Yeah. Create wards at one end.
Okay.
Roll a 6.
So,
you got both.
Well, I might take that as a benefit then.
Yeah.
So this is I'm going to roll with the stress dice, expertise in law, 3 dice, wards and glyphs. Roll to do something else. Oh, that's a 3 on the stress dice. Stress goes up by 1. Sadly, law is not my specialism, so I can't do anything about that. So that is a 3.
On a do something else. So when I do something else, I thought I've internalized our first pass at the Harness of Dark, and I keep thinking about, when it was Anton, and it was much its own separate move. So you either fail, or I may offer you success at a cost after a hard choice, or a hard choice they describe.
I will mark heat, which just moved us to capture, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, what's the hard choice or a cost?
You've got to be in the tunnel.
You could leave it until circumstances arise, and then you just spring an additional complication on us.
If you're willing to take that, I felt that wasn't.
I think that, because really I shouldn't have rolled till he crossed the threshold, should I?
That's the point. Yeah, because that's how we normally do it, isn't it? Yeah. Like, the use of explosives is usually as the bomb goes off rather than
did it work
beforehand.
Did the setup work?
Okay, but you're willing to take
what luck
success at a cost with whatever I introduce that cost as, right? Okay.
But I will say again, we just reached capture.
I know. Plenty of things I can spend my heat on now. Okay, so I think that's the thing we have. No, wait. There's pointless trying to put up a white thing when my background is white, because. But yeah, so you just imagine that there is an underpass, there is an entrance A and an entrance B. He is coming from entrance A, is the plan. Professor Vogel is going to set up this thing to lure him in here. I don't think we need to roll any initial scenes for any prep, like the initial roll to see how you get to Central Park, because it is an open place. So I think.
Do we need to roll how convincing the tapestry is? Or
well, as I've just been reminded by Alan, we will do that when that happens. Yeah. And perhaps like the success at a cost would be you have to be there to sell it as well, kind of thing. Like you have to be in that tunnel.
Cool.
So why don't we start off with that then? So it's Central Park. What time of day is it, Paul?
Let's go for early evening.
Cool. I had to check the clock, right? So
yeah, before they lock it down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we're entering into the sort of dusky hours of the day. It's quiet out here. People haven't gone. There's a few sort of stray people, some dodgy people in the park. But you're the dodgiest people in the park by far. And cruising down towards, from the aerial shot of the city, there is a small cavalcade of tinted windows cars pulling up around those little circles, and then a tall figure, dark jet black hair, looking somewhere in his 30s, and an imperial looking face strides out. And anyone who was paying close attention would notice that moving at several paces removed from him, almost blending in with others, looking as though they're not anything to do with him, are several very mean looking people, dressed incongruously as joggers, and one of them seems to be holding a picnic basket. And they enter the park and they stride towards the underpass, where we cut down to in the underpass, and let's see Professor Vogel's roll now.
So again, for preparation, it's just one die. Can I add something else? My academia.
Yeah, what, I'll let you roll your academia to try and incorporate stuff that will sell it to him that this is a ploy of the Mask of Nyarlathotep.
And stress, obviously.
If you like.
Of course I like. That is a 3, which is the highest die. I get a complication.
Can you is your no.
What isn't academia my specialty? Can't I re-roll that?
I think it is.
I thought it would have been, but maybe not.
I think it is. I think you're a
corporate, but corporate is
you're
academia.
you're an analyst. It's insight is your specialism.
Okay.
So it'd be insight. So I mean, it's not a big cost. I mean, I mark heat, so capture's full now.
I mean, I'd be fine. Your control. I'd be fine with. I have to be inside to sell it to him because it's a bit dodgy and shady.
Mm-hmm. You have to be. You know, you did have this tapestry already with the fake needle in and everything, right? But what you didn't realize was that there was a homeless person sleeping in the maintenance tunnel that you thought was disused. And while you guys were making all of your plans and your prep and everything, you see them stagger out the other side with it wrapped around them, going like, woo, and they run off into the park with it like a cape, leading you to have to improvise, Professor Vogel, and you're going to have to sell that you are a mask of Nyarlathotep, who is taunting your immortal love rival in order to lure him in. So that places you slap bang in the middle of this tunnel. You can salvage just enough of the manuscript of, you can quickly like grab some spray paint and tag like the symbols of the Dread Pharaoh, the Dark Pharaoh on the wall and everything to try and sell it. But that seem fair?
That seems unfair, but I take it as anyways.
Yeah. You mean it seems cruel? But yes.
Yeah, it's cruel.
Yeah.
It's totally fair.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Clock, where are you in this scene?
You've made it sort of easier for me, I feel. I would like to join his entourage as another homeless bum, because I think his entourage recognise me. I'm going to don the face of one of the guy from the island.
Of Pavel, I think it was, wasn't
Pavel.
it? Pavel.
Yeah. Oh no, not young Pavel. Yeah.
Young Pavel. Okay.
Young Pavel's face. So yeah, I would like to false face, so that's sort of disguise into his group.
Okay. So let's have you roll that maintain your cover as you try and link up with a couple of these guys. These, there's like little pockets of them, like they're not all moving in one direction. These are professionals. These are not just this undisciplined mafia goons. These are all people who, some of them look at Spetsnaz, that kind of thing.
FSB.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got expertise on the table, standard dice, and let's throw in the stress dice. Why not?
Oof, that's a 6.
2 6s.
2 6s. So
if only the 2 6s made any difference.
Yeah. So mark intel.
Well, I think it should. So does the stress dice? Is it if
Equal,
it's above?
so it goes up. Equal and it goes up. If it's equal in the highest dice, basically.
Okay. Yep.
So it goes up. You mark intel as well. You succeed brilliantly. I'll agree with you. What extra benefit you get?
I think the extra benefit is they think I am the man carrying the heavy load. As in, they know I'm the man carrying the heavy load. They that I'm the man in their team that's carrying the heavy load. So they don't mind that I am carrying a full heavy load. They fully expect it.
I like that. If you want to mark your heavy load, I should have asked Professor Vogel, what are you carrying?
I mean, I do have to persuade at least Koschei that I am somebody else. Does that? So I can't be heavy, for example, but could I be medium, or should I be light to be very persuasive?
So I think light is about pretending that you're not somebody, right, who's up to no good, whereas you are definitely up to no good. So actually, heavy's on the table. The only problem with heavy is that you have to leg it. You're going to be carrying a lot of stuff. So
I go medium then.
Medium seems a good bet. I think that in order to sell what you've got, maybe, I don't know, you know what, it's mostly about drawing upon what you know about Nyarlathotep rather than any kind of, because you're a mask, right? Like,
could be whoever,
Some masks are massive giant monsters. Other masks are naive construction workers who are destined to become the vessel of Nyarlathotep. It's hard to say. Okay, so we know where. So where is Michael Enders in all of this?
I think
Koschei
Michael
draws towards the tunnel.
is just sitting on a park bench in sight of the entrance to the underpass, so that he can act once it's confirmed that Koschei has entered.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with medium load.
Okay.
For reference.
So Koschei has agreed to meet you guys alone, and certainly he's a lone figure as he walks up there, and another guy sits on that bench next to you, and like pulls a brown paper bottle, a bottle and a brown paper bag out of it, and swigs it. You smell vodka, and he sort of leers at you, one of his tattoos up on the side of his neck, and he goes, "This is my bench. Do you want to maintain your cover to convince him that you're?"
I think I'm going to have to, aren't
Yeah.
I will out-intimidate him by saying, "It's my bench!"
Act crazy. Yeah.
Which I'm hoping will give me use of authority expertise.
Yeah, I'll let you have authority with that one. Yeah.
And I will use the stress dice because it matters.
The authority of the I don't know.
I am
mentally troubled.
crazed
Yeah.
to a degree.
Yeah.
That is 5, and it's on the stress dice. Stress goes up.
Nice.
But a simple success, so to speak.
And he just shakes his head and goes, "Goddamn crazies in this town." Mr. Clock, you can see you're at a distance with these 2 huge hulking guys next to you. Like going like, you have the stuff, Pavel. Good work, good man.
I've got the stuff. Let's fuck them up.
When the boss gives signal, we'd roll.
We'll roll indeed.
And Felicity, I'm kind of imagining you on the other end of this underpass, right? Like, does that sound fair?
Yeah. A quick question.
Mhm.
Did we need to change the gear benefit for the safe house for this mission? Or is that just set
That is set until you spend an intel to
change it?
Yeah, you know what? You'd spend an intel to declare a new safe house, wouldn't you, typically, Alan? But I think it's fine to spend an intel to change the tactical benefit, but you can only do it once a session. So would you like to do that?
Well, I'm wondering where we're going to get the explosives from otherwise.
So far, nothing about your plan requires explosives.
Okay, then we'll ignore that.
But
So
you need the dart.
Do you want a heavy weapon?
Well, besides my sniper rifle, I don't need one. Well, actually, hold on.
Well, it's a trank gun. If you're firing the needle, there's no
Okay.
there's no ballistics that will allow you to fire that needle with any kind of accuracy. It's a needle. Any force that would fire it over that distance would explode the needle.
Okay.
So in fact, your good position that you had has now been compromised more into a kind of like a good shot from a close, like you're stepping out from, he's silhouetted, you're silhouetted when you step out and bang, as opposed to being in a bluff aiming for the silhouette, if that makes sense.
Okay, fair enough. So
I
the
think
question that I
trank gun
had
would fall under.
Unless we were to flash back to Michael constructing something that was robust enough to work over distance.
Okay.
Weaponizing a vulnerability, perhaps.
Okay, I like it.
There's a bit of risk in this. But I'm prepared to give it a shot if, Felicity, you want a bit more distance.
I mean, theoretically, I could do it in hand to hand and just like jab him with the needle.
You can do it in many ways. I would say, like, what do you think is the most dramatically interesting for you as a player?
Oh.
Do you want to go toe-to-toe see Koschei's face when you kill him?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, and it's one of those things like, given her code, yeah, that's not something that gets done at a distance. But we could have somebody up in that blind with some sort of machine gun to lay down suppressing fire so we can get clear.
Hey, we've already covered off all the roles here, I think.
Yeah.
Felicity, that could be a thing you call in a contact, though, to do for you.
Tony Two Thumbs could be in the MG nest.
He's not very good with a machine gun. He's all thumbs.
No. Need a trigger finger. Yeah, I think this is one of those things where Felicity would want to do it up close and personal.
Nice. So, you're going medium as well?
Oh, what the hell? Why not? I will actually do something unusual and go medium for once.
For once, not the pack rat.
Yeah. And should I also call on the on that contact now? So we have that set up, or should I just like do that if we need it?
Do that if you need it.
Okay.
Because it may go the other way. Who? I had the whole like how you change the future in there, and it's been replaced with Michael Enders. So I don't know if Alan maybe had that box open or clicked on when he was
Sorry,
typing
where's
his name
that?
on Zoom. On the underneath the safe house, timeline the resistance. I had all the ways you change the future, and now it just says Michael Enders.
Oh, it said that some time ago.
I
dear.
think maybe when you typed in your name on Zoom,
Oh,
you had the box
no.
opened. Don't worry, I'll sort it out later date. It just made me imagine that, like, you know, you're one of those people who just says their own name. Like, how did the resistance succeed? Michael Enders.
Sorry, do you know, I thought that was his, I saw that and I thought, I must change it to his brother's name because clearly he's the success we've had.
Yeah. No, don't worry about it. Sorry, that's just me like saying something out loud as I looked at it. Apologies, I shouldn't have disrupted it for that. Anyways, so Koschei is coming down. Felicity's got the, you know, the trank gun with a needle loaded. I don't think the trank gun falls under heavy. It was automatic weaponry, heavy weaponry, gadgets, and explosives before, right? With the 3 different options. I think trank gun's a thing that you can just have, frankly, from your vet friend that you bribed. So you don't need to change the safe house for that.
They will be getting repeat business provided that we actually have a future and I have a.
Oh yeah, you took out the full program for your duck friend.
Yeah,
and
Lucas has health insurance now.
Koschei is, you know, walks over to the doorway, the entrance to the underpass with his briefcase. And Professor Vogel, how do you lure him further in?
Professor Vogel is inside the underpass, so that probably in the dim light, he's not really he can't be identified. I think that he does wear an actual bona fide theater mask, and he says with a soft voice, "Oh, her skin is so beautiful, isn't it?"
Is that you, old friend?
There are not many who kissed the queen. You, me, who else?
I thought taking my soul. So jealous, a spurned lover, desperate for her attention, but she is coming back. She will not need your paltry affections anymore. Step forward, show me your face. This one, at least.
Well, persuasion?
Yes.
So he will say something like, I hold a mirror to you. Who is the jealous lover?
You know what? I'm gonna say this is maintain your cover to some extent, right?
Okay. And maintain my cover is.
Yes, they're all the same roll. It's just different results on the roll, essentially, right?
But can I use persuasion?
Oh yes, you can still use persuasion for it. Yeah, entirely. Yeah.
And
Because
stress, I guess.
it's not much of a disguise. You know what I mean? You just
yeah. It's words. And I have a 5 on my expertise and not on the stress die.
Nice. Your cover holds, and Koschei says, steps further into the dark, into the tunnel. What is this? Give me my soul. Here is your money. I can't believe it is about money for you, though. Come. You wear this old, frail, flabby body. You used to have higher standards.
Professor Vogel blushes under his mask. But he will say, it's all a play. I can be whoever I want.
And of course,
and he's waiting for the Reaper to make the move.
Can I just confirm that is Koschei? Because I owe you a hard move, a hard choice, Will, remember?
Oh, I know. You muted yourself then.
Has he crossed the threshold?
He's crossed the threshold.
And what does my ward tell me?
Your ward was to bar mortals from entering.
Yeah.
Koschei, he appears to have entered, so he is not mortal.
It's definitely him.
And he certainly resembles he looks like all of the pictures of Alexander Koschei. Not that means much in a world of glamours and things, right? But he's inside. Felicity, what do you do? As he steps forward towards, you know what, in fact, he's going to walk, he's striding over to Vogel now. And he is just saying, you are a fool. I have broken your masks in the past, and I will break them again. This one will not be so hard. And what do you do, Felicity?
I just step out of a place where nobody should have been able to be behind him, put the trank gun in his back and say, here's your soul, bitch. Click.
Cool.
Do you want me to roll for that?
I do want you to roll for that. I want you to roll confront. You can add your expertise and your deadly.
Doesn't count. Oh, I can add deadly.
And your deadly,
okay.
Yes.
So risk die?
Yes, I think Koschei would ordinarily be, let me have a quick look at how I statted him out. He would ordinarily be a 5 risk die, like all of them. But okay. I think due to the fact that you've got this drop on him, it's only going to be a 3, let's say.
So roll 3 risk die.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 on deadly. It is the highest die.
Nice. Mark intel. And roll for stress as that needle stabs into him, and the entire tunnel erupts in light as howling souls are drawn, like they explode outwards from Koschei, all the blood and all the people that he has killed over millennia. There's ghosts spiral out from him, and it's like the when the Ark opens up in Raiders of the Lost Ark, but they're just pouring out of the tunnel now. And he screams with light coming out of his eyes, and he backs, he staggers back against the wall with the needle inside of him. And he says,
stress roll was 4.
Stress roll was 4.
That ties with my current stress.
Cool. So it does not go up. Outside, the Koschei Bratva guys leap and start dashing towards the entrance of the tunnels. Gilgamesh, what do you do when the guy next to you swears and pulls out a Mac 10?
I beat him to the ground, but leave him alive, as I
Okay.
seek relief from the horror
Well, you're gonna have to
by
confront
inflicting
him.
mortal fear upon him.
You're gonna have to confront him to do that.
I am. So let's confront him. I will. Oh, I dare not. I will. Yeah, I will use. Whoops, Daisy. Hand to hand, and I will include the stress dice. That's a 6, not on the stress dice. I'll roll.
Oh, there's definitely a 2 risk dice there as well.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. There we go. 5 and 4.
Cool.
I'll mark the intelligible, but I'll roll that stress now. That's a 2. Stress doesn't change. But on a 6, is he sufficiently frightened before I inflict a wound on him?
Oh yeah.
To give me a seek relief from the horror.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I'm going to say is this is going to be you really making a meal out of it with this guy.
Yeah.
So it's going to put, while everybody else
Time,
is like, go,
time,
go,
tick,
go,
tick, tick,
you're there
tick,
going,
tick.
yeah.
That is a 2.
Okay.
So I will sadly not have expertise to play with for a little while.
No. Mr. Clock, Pavel. Guy nudges you and goes, Pavel, get the big gun out. And
Of course.
And they just start running like linebackers towards it as like more guys like break out. So like there's these 2 huge guys who are running straight towards the entrance, and then you can see that there's like a squad of like people who are supposedly joggers have just turned and are now running straight towards the entrance, right? Like about, I don't know, 6 of them all running across what one might say would be a nice open killing field.
Exactly. So that sort of pause to reach down it, and I think it will be the classic sort of cello case, because they expected me to bring the heavy weapons, and what is better than a cello case? So I'll reach down, unfold that, pull out the big gun, but it's not going to be aimed at my compatriots. It will be aimed at the back of these bratwursts, as they're going to be.
Nice. So, roll to confront.
Let me put the biggest gun on the list.
The machine gun, a thing that I've only got a chance to use once, I think, in all of the play cycles of this game.
I mean, it could be the rocket-propelled grenade, but let's not do that one. Where is the machine gun? How far down is it?
I believe it's light machine gun, maybe? No. Squad LMG. There we go. Long auto heavy.
Let's have some of that. 3 gear already gone. And let's blast them.
Cool.
So what risk have I got?
With a belt of ammunition draped elegantly across the shoulder of Mr. Clock.
Nice.
Oh, Pavel!
Yeah. Pavel, what are you doing? Yeah.
Gasoline!
I think that is 3 stress dive, because they are all also heavily armed and there is a group of them. But you will fuck them up, basically.
Okay, so I do get the bonus heavy die, do I?
You do.
Okay, we're clocking a lot of dice here. So I've got stress, expertise, standard, bonus deadly heavy, 3 risk. Let's see what we get. Oh, well, that's a 5, but there was 2 6s on the risk.
Should that double 6 make a difference, Paul?
Of course. Double 6 is always better.
Yeah, on the wrist die as well. Yeah.
Do we get intel?
Not on the wrist die. No, not on the bad die. But with that, you do cut down they're essentially a squad of goons, right? And having the auto one allows you to kill most of them with that 5 result on the die of confront. But they do return fire, and
I thought they would, and
yeah.
this is where I need the ceramic breastplate.
Yeah,
absorbs 2.
Nice. Also, I know these are nameless pawns. It's just something I meant to say at the start, but I after playing this a few times, where essentially nameless pawns are just scenery description. So if I've made you roll for it, then you're not going to get +3 on the highest roll against the nameless pawn, because I just can't be bothered naming all of the pawns who come after you, basically. But yeah, Pavel, you're my brother.
Fuck you, Peter.
Yeah. The 2 big guys plow towards that ward. And
so how much damage did I take?
You didn't take any because you used the ceramic armor to block the blow, so there wasn't even a need to roll for a
okay, and that absorbs, so it was 2 damage basically, and I took 2 damage.
No, you took 1.
No, it absorbs everything twice.
Oh, didn't know that. Excellent.
Yeah. You've got 2 boxes of armor and blades or whatever, right? Like,
okay,
yeah.
So basically I stagger back as they hit me, but I've mowed a few of them down.
You're going, and then one of them like goes like, fuck. Stray bullet goes tink. Pavel goes down, right? Just for a second, wounded. Allowing these, but giving enough time for these 2 big guys who just run straight past Gilgamesh, beating the shit out of one of their compatriots. They don't seem to pay any attention. And they go straight through into the tunnel that you warded against all mortals, but not these guys. Because as they step through the tunnel, the skin peels away, the glamour sort of ripples off them, and you see that these are 2 huge hulking figures with stone-like faces. Trolls! Professor Vogel, what do you do?
I mean, Holger is called Trollbane for a reason. Unfortunately, I don't know the reason. Do I know anything about trolls? Is that a good moment to...
Do you have intel?
I have 1 intel.
Do you want to spend intel on a troll?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I will give you for free. Trolls have great strength.
I want to know something that I can use.
Okay. So, with 1 intel, give it, tell me, I can reveal a compulsion to you.
Okay.
Yeah. And the compulsion is that they come in and they say, help out the boss, dumb. I'll get this one, D. And that these are Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who are, their compulsion is that they are very argumentative.
Okay.
Because as they go, like, you get this, you get the boss, you help the boss, I'll get this one. No, you help the boss, I'll get this one. He looks tasty. And Koschei is going,
Okay, so I don't see Professor Vogel, pulling out his machine gun. Instead,
so as Tweedledee jumps to thrust one arm, and pins you up against the wall, you're going to make some sort of persuasive argument, I imagine.
Yes, and I will say to the other guy, and I will say, killing Nyarlathotep, which is, I would be the biggest prize here, not helping, against a mortal goon.
He just wants the glory for himself, and you're letting him take it, that kind of thing. Yeah, roll persuade. That's confront with persuade, basically. With a fictional positioning of you're not going to be doing any harm, but you will occupy them in squabbling if you do so, giving both of you more of a window opportunity here.
And
And I think that is going to be still going to be 3 rest die.
fair. I will include stress, obviously. Oof, there's a 6 on the stress on the risk die, and my stress die is also the highest, which is a 5.
So your stress goes up, but you do convince them to have this argument, you know, to stop what they're doing, and they are going to squabble amongst themselves for a few moments. But you are going to have to roll for consequences unless you want to declare some armor.
I would like to declare some armor.
Okay.
Obviously.
So that's what takes the hit, as the one who's grabbing you flings you onto the other side of the tunnel, right? Like cracking you against the tiles that like shatter beneath the force. And he turns to his brother and say, "You tried to trick me." Felicity. The blast of all of this soul energy has like temporarily distracted you, but Koschei is staggering to his feet. That needle, like he pulls it out and he stares at it with horror, and he says, "No, you've done nothing. I will live forever. I will see her return." And he pulls out a pair of, like, he pulls out impossibly from his coat a huge broadsword and comes running at you.
Well, I mean, how far away could he stagger?
He seems remarkably spry still.
Because I mean, I did that at point blank range. Okay.
I mean, is it dramatically interesting to have him just crumple up in a corner and not do stuff? Or is it more fun to have him run after you with a broadsword?
Well, we know his soul's back in his body, so he's killable now. I'm just going to go ahead and declare my first bit of gear here.
Well, you need to declare the Trank gun to start off with.
I thought you said I didn't even need to.
No, you didn't need a special safe house ability to do it. You just needed to declare it as a piece of kit.
Okay. So what do you think there? Like, is there actually a tranquilizer?
There is actually a Trank gun. I just generally disapprove of spies using Trank guns just because they don't want to kill people, basically.
All right.
Because there has to be a real reason why in real life people don't just run around with Trank guns, right? Otherwise, everyone would be doing it.
So yeah, I'm just going to go with compact SMG.
Okay. Again, that is confront with 5 risk die. You get to add all of your stuff in.
I love rolling with all sorts of dice.
Not
now,
just all sorts, all the dice.
So can I spend any intel at this moment to do anything different, like to add harm to him or something like that?
Not to add harm to him, but you could spend intel to get an idea about you've already got his vulnerability. I could let you know what his powers are with intel.
Sure, I'll spend an intel for that.
Bear in mind, if they're useful, he's going to use them anyway.
And
actually, that is a good point. I'm just going to go ahead and open fire.
Yeah,
good fun.
Before you roll, this is purely mechanical. Puckett, you're on full intel. You'll probably stand some chance of rolling a 6. You might want to lower your stress now.
I actually did. So I'm going to retcon that briefly. Spend the intel to lower stress and get that intel back from the 6.
Okay.
And then stress die was a 4.
But the failure dice was a 6 as well.
So I roll, let's see, this is for
consequences. Unless you declare a piece of armor.
Which tab is consequences on?
Consequences is right underneath confront. Harmful consequences, row F. column F. So you roll 1d6. You can add your stress die if you're willing to take that risk. This will be a -1.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'm willing to roll my stress die.
One thing
That's
I
a
think
1
I'm going
and
to
a
mess
3.
around. Nice. So a 1 and a 3. The consequences are serious. Tell control if it's mortal, you feel your stress and crack. It's bloody, you'll die after 1 more action without medical treatment, or it's painful, you cannot use your expertise until you get medical treatment.
Ah. I can spend intel to regain my expertise, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then I will say it's painful and mark expertise.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, just to clarify, mechanics-wise, that's off the table now as a choose one of these 3 options. The fact that you've got your expertise back doesn't mean that you can then keep choosing bloody over and over and over. It's painful over and over again. Because fictionally, you've just powered through rather than actually patch yourself up.
Yeah. So I've removed that intel and I have changed expertise back to available.
Cool, but you do. So that burst of SMG fire, like stagger cuts into him. It turns out he was wearing a vest as well, so it doesn't take him down instantly. He may be Koschei the Endless, but he still doesn't like actually getting shot. But he staggers forward and then, like, you know, slams into you and you manage to twist just enough to get the flat of the broadsword rather than the thing. And his great strength lifts you across the corridor, the underpass again. But you did roll a 6 on your take them out, so you succeed brilliantly. And
On the regular die.
On a regular die.
I think we just lost Will.
Will's just gone very still.
It's a trick.
Still will.
Very still Will.
Hello?
It's
Yeah,
quiet.
if we all go like this.
Minor technical difficulty there. But yes, Felicity unleashes a spray of bullets into Koschei. Koschei swats her aside with the flat of a broadsword. But luckily, Felicity's body armor, no, she doesn't take the hit. She gets painful. And she winces as a cracked rib staggers her back. Outside, Mr. Clock, the surviving couple of members of these goons are moving up while you're catching your breath. What do you do?
They've got to be mowed down.
They've got to be mowed down.
Yeah.
Okay.
To give me access to the tunnel.
Gilgamesh, you can see that that Vogel has got 2 towering figures that seem to be not only coming to blows as they argue which of them is going to rip off his head first. And the guy beneath you is going like, okay, oh my God, what are you, some kind of monster?
Get up, tell him to run away.
Run.
And I want to embed one of those trolls. I want to make them one with the wall.
Okay. It's going to require you to get up close to them.
It is. I will spend my intel, my single intel, to get my expertise back.
Okay.
And I will charge at him, aiming to just push him in the wall at the point I use the law to do something else.
Yeah, you know, as you run towards the entrance to the tunnel, yeah, something hurts.
Oh God, it's
that.
counting me as supernatural.
No, it's counting you as mortal. because that's what you warded it against.
Oh, I
those
see. Yes, I
mortals.
did. I did.
Yeah. And that's the
Oh,
hard cost that's coming to you, is that like
ouch.
it's blocked from all mortals, not just the ones you don't like.
Okay, so I have to take time to go to the other entrance that I didn't
You either
ward.
have to go around or break these wards.
I can't afford to use law to break these wards at the moment, so I have to go the long way round.
Professor Vogel, you see Gilgamesh running towards you, right? Like, and you're
Fool!
like, oh my God, thank you. But I don't think you even see him bounce off those wards. What you see is the trolls like step in front of your view as they like wrestle with each other, right? And as they step back, you just see Gilgamesh run the other way.
Again, coward.
Cool. So that leaves Vogel. Tweedledee shoves Tweedledum up against the wall. What are you doing?
I pull out a significantly powerful weapon.
And he turns around to you and I tell you what, one thing you could do with all of your intel bucket is declare things about the trolls as well. Because this is one issue with this game is if you don't have the intel to spend on these things, I will
I have no intel. Maybe some weakness or something.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you roll and investigate as they stumble above you to try and find out a weakness from them, yeah?
Good idea.
Investigate.
I would like to pull out some kind of salt thrower, if that is what they are weak against. Investigate is my expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also do the stress thing. And I get a 3 on all of them.
You get a 3 on all of them. Would you like to, I would
Yes.
say that you can call in your expertise as an analyst and insight into this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So re-roll and mark the expertise.
No, you can just mark the expertise, mark as point of stress, and it bumps it up to a 4. So rather than a 1 to 3, you get a 4 instead.
So it's the expertise is not available, and I have to mark stress.
It's specialism, not expertise. We're quite bad at keeping consistent about that. Basically, it's your specialism that allows you to do that. Specialism. We just tend to use it interchangeably, which is not helpful. So,
just to clarify, but my expertise is still cannot be used.
No, it goes up. No, it is reactivated actually because your stress has gone up. Sorry. Because you just marked a point of stress to use your specialism. So yeah. The deterrent is sunlight, turns them to stone, and they are vulnerable. So they have. I'm going to give you all of their powers here. They are armored, stone skin. Sunlight turns them into, slowly into stone. That's the deterrent against them. But dusk, though, however, meant that it was not really bright enough to do them much damage in that sense. But their weakness is anything that would crack stone, which I leave to your imagination. Yes.
Probably a sledgehammer.
Yeah, something like that would work. Yeah. So with that, though, I think I may have cut off Paul earlier when I asked him to do something and then switched quickly over to Michael. So, Mr. Clock, what are you doing as these two goons come up towards these remaining two goons go, it's Pavel, I think I shot him. Oh, he must have gone mad. Oh, they probably a traitor. I never liked Pavel.
Die!
As you come up from behind the bench that you've rolled behind the cackle and the heavy machine gun. Okay, that's still another 3 stress die back, 3 risk die back at your way.
3 risk die, 4 dice for me, including the stress dice. What could possibly go wrong? Oh no, that's awesome. We've got a 5 on the bonus die, and risk was only 4.
Oh, okay, nice. So you just, Pavel, I always hated you. Yeah, and he's there on the ground like, why, Pavel? Why?
Face off.
As he coughs up. Wow, Mr. Clock is unhinged tonight. Yeah. In the tunnel, Felicity again. Koschei's coming at you. You can see Vogel scrambling back away from the from Tweedledee, who has shoved his brother's face into a wall, and his brother is going like, "We can't get out. No, he's mine." What do you do, Felicity? As Koschei starts to chant starts to weave his hands in the air and chant things, because he is still a powerful sorcerer.
Did he drop his sword?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shoot him.
Okay, you shoot him as he casts a spell on you. Roll to cover it. 5 dice again.
Six on the stress die.
What? Anything other risk? Sorry, my connection.
I got a 6 on risk.
Nice. So,
Let's go through this. Mark intel.
Mark intel.
Since stress was the highest, it goes up, correct?
Uh-huh.
Now I have to roll for risk.
Now you have to roll for risk, yes, with a -1.
That is a 5 on risk.
So that is a 4, which means that I don't think you suffer any consequences, do you? No, you were lucky this time. It hurts, but you live. As the dark coils of shadows pull away from the walls and wrap themselves around you, and they start to constrict you and tighten you, but you bring that gun and then boom, and he goes. Another 2 damage, I'm imagining, is your extra benefit.
Yeah, just all of it on harm.
Mm-hmm.
Quick. Well, actually, no, I rolled a 6, so I don't need to worry about that.
Mm-hmm. Your stress has got up, right? You've got the intel, blah, blah, blah. So yes, that was all taken care of. God, I've pretty much got you to declare all of your kit again. Nearly, you know? And that's when Koschei, like he falls to the ground and slumps over. And his bit long coat is billowed around him. As you pull yourself up, and you kick the coat, and the coat sinks into the ground, and a shadow detaches from the wall, and a wounded-looking man sprints down the underpass in the other direction towards where Gilgamesh is. He is running away from this fight now that he thinks he can't win it, badly injured. Behind you, Professor Vogel, Tweedledee.
So I would like to declare, Professor Vogel was the whole time leaning on a stick, like a walking stick or something, but now it reveals itself as a specialized tool. I don't know. It's probably
like some sort of like precision hammer, maybe, like really dense at the end, like cracking very not like a sledgehammer, but like really pinpoint.
I can't see Professor Vogel wielding a sledgehammer. He's just too frail. That makes
How
no sense.
about Shawshank Redemption, the geologist's hammer?
Oh, yes. You get a little geologist.
It should be, at least the shaft should be long. The top point is, it's pointy enough to do the damage against stony things.
Certainly is when he grabs you up and he's holding you up against his face, right? And he grabs that mask and rips it off, and he can just dink in the middle of his forehead, right? So roll me your hand-to-hand comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're using a weapon that bypasses his armor here, and he is vulnerable to it. So you get to roll with your expertise. You get to include your stress die.
Yeah, I could. What happens when my stress is full, though?
You're out of the game.
Okay, that is a good move to make as a last action. So I will include the stress die.
As you become the first Vogel to earn the name Trollbane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it 2 dice, or is it the deadly thing because it's good against the weakness? No.
No, not the deadly thing because it's good against the weakness. No, it's
And
just
it's also not the expertise, it's just 2 dice, and fictionally I can do damage because.
yeah, and your expertise comes into play because of
Oh,
the
it does.
yeah. So
Oh, cool.
your expertise, the orange, the gray, your stress if you want it, and 3 risk die because they are.
Let's go. Yes, it's a 5 and it's not on the stress die.
But you need to roll the risk die now.
I know. Oof.
Ooh,
Double 6.
double
well,
6.
double 6 doesn't do anything. Doesn't do shit. It's just
No.
a 6.
Would you want to roll for your consequence?
Yes, I do. I picked the ceramic armor, so it has 2 charges.
Yeah, so you can just as he crushes you and it cracks, like the last plate cracks underneath his skin, and then you think in the forehead, and then
you should roll the dice for consequences, because if a 6 comes up, you get the benefit.
Let's do this then. What do I roll? Just a single die?
Any dice. Any die.
Any die. That is a 2.
Yeah, definitely. The ceramic saves you from bloody painful or whatever. Yeah. And he goes and he staggers back. Mr. Clock, you find yourself unable to get into the tunnel if you tried to.
Yes, but I'm relying on that my weapon is range long.
Get down. Yeah.
I want to say Professor Vogel, but I take it mechanically they're going to have armor versus my weapon.
Yeah, it's going to remove your expertise, but you'll still have the deadly heavy.
Deadly heavy, but this bloke's running away, isn't he, Koschei?
I think with a heavy machine gun down an underpass with 2 of your allies in there, I think a clear shot.
Doesn't say area. Doesn't say area at all. Play mechanics.
It's an auto weapon, right?
Loads of people have got auto weapons. Auto's not area.
Yeah, but you're shooting through them. You're shooting through them.
Let's shoot Tweedledee.
I'm glad I'm never downrange of you. Let's put it that way.
Let's shoot Tweedledee.
Yeah.
So I take it there's no risk to me.
There is no risk to you.
So I've got the deadly dice, the normal dice. Let's have the stress dice.
Let's put 1 risk die in there, and the risk is for Professor Vogel.
Oh, that's low. That's low.
That is low indeed.
I know.
That's low.
I know, but if I was on the other side of the table, I'd be like,
chips.
If I was on the other side of the table, I'd want you to be as mean to me. So, it's fine. 5.
5. So I need to roll for stress.
No, because it's not 6. If it's your highest one, it just goes up automatically.
Oh, excellent. Okay, not a problem.
But
yeah, I've got a point of intel. I won't burn that yet. So yeah, we got a big fat hit.
And he's like, he staggers back with it, and he's like, and he's like, and he yells out at you, and he just like screams as the bullets like work its way up his body, and then it goes through that gap that Professor Vogel's just cracked in his face, and ricochets around the inside of his head, and Tweedledee slumps to the ground while Tweedledum is still head stuck in the wall, going, On the other side of things, Felicity, you've been let go of these shadowy things. This figure is running down the corridor away from you. Would you like to chase them down?
I've got a fucking gun. I want to shoot the son of a bitch. This is why you have guns. They get things at a distance.
True. Yeah, roll to confront them then.
Apart from your gun, because it's only close.
Yeah.
How far away is he at this point? I mean, it's a tunnel.
It's a
tunnel. And these things are like 20, 30 feet long at most.
I'll be honest, I was mainly just looking for a way to finally use that chase them down rule. Shoot him then. Go for it. Shoot him. Confront them.
All righty. And am I rolling any risk dice since he's running away?
You are not rolling any risk die. You do not have access to your expertise, however, as he has cloaked himself in shadows. using another aspect of his wards, binding, and spells.
I can't use my expertise die.
No, so
God
it's
damn
just
it,
3
that
die.
tricky little shit. Can I tell how much how much damage I need to do to finish him off?
Not much.
That is a 6 on deadly, 2 on stress.
6 on deadly. He goes down. He dies. You riddle him with bullets. Gilgamesh, you've maybe like climbed over the underpass, right? So you sprinted your way across the top. You're on the other side, like pointing down, when Koschei runs out and then and slumps to the ground, eyes locked upon you. Felicity, just roll for stress, I guess, because
Yep.
you've just killed the person who killed your boss.
Which is actually what I yell after him as he slumps. It's like, that's for killing Graziano. And that's a 6 on stress.
Stress
So
goes up.
it goes up. And unfortunately, I wish I could get intel off of that. But
You
I'm
don't
just
need
gonna,
any more intel. You've got loads of intel.
I'm just going to spend an intel to keep my stress from going up.
Makes sense. Koschei is dead. Tweedledum is stuck in the wall. Professor Vogel, you can get yourself up. This ward is still active on this side.
I would like to reduce stress by confronting Michael.
Yeah, you guys want to exfiltrate through the other side, yell at Mr. Clock to like meet up on the other side.
Mhm.
Should we finish off Dumb and D?
I think we need to finish off Dumb and D. Can I declare an ultraviolet lamp?
Yes.
And I just want to march up there and just, play it over.
Let's have a quick Professor Vogel roll seek relief as he verbally abuses Michael.
Maybe while he is,
while he's pushing past you,
nonchalantly,
pulling. Yeah, I like it.
Vogel will say, "No wonder Trollbane died under your watch, Michael. How often will you run away?"
Go on, roll that dice.
Okay. Just a single die.
Yes.
And it is a 4.
4. So you don't lose your expertise. They must roll for stress.
Indeed, they must. Stress is only 3 as well. And it goes up. Michael looks away.
In shame.
Cowed and shamed.
So you've declared the ultraviolet lamp, Michael. Roll to do something else. You're muted.
Technical expertise.
Yeah.
And the stress dice.
Okay.
Any risk die?
No, because this is mostly just about, I think, incapacitating Tweedledum, from petrifying him.
That's a pair of 6s. Unfortunately, one of them's on the stress dice, so stress goes to
goes
5. But the effect is that I do this in such a way that how can we keep him here?
Oh well,
no. And he turns to stone, and I turn to the professor and say, "He's all yours."
Nice. And then a few. Yeah. So that takes some time. That's enough time for Mr. Clock to have been like on the barrier and then like go around kind of thing, and you're all in the tunnel. You all can step out over the dead body of Koschei, who withers up and dies. And as he dies, he says, "But I'll never see her beauty again."
Oh, could I just change that a little bit? Tell me if, as he's dying, I want to lean over him and say, "But you will, Koschei, because I will wear your face." I'll cut his face off as he crumbles away.
Oh, okay. we're going to do that as a, like if you want to use that, that's going to be like a technical roll at the time you come to use it, right? Using your hands to dark. But if you want to write down in your gear that you've got Koschei's face as a one slot item. And I'm going to call the session there, guys. But what's going to happen is as you're leaving Central, you're making your way out of Central Park, right? There are sirens coming in on the southern end of the park because there was a lot of gunfire and everything. And you get to, Felicity, what's the vehicle that you guys are? What's the exfiltration plan here?
We're just getting into one of the vehicles that they brought.
You're going to steal you get into one of their cars, right? And you start the engine, and that's when you hear the horn of the Wild Hunt coming towards you. And that's where we're going to end the session as I deploy the capture the attack squad to swoop in and get you.
Could we have put the bodies in the secret entrance? We didn't really use it. No? The one with the tramp in it.
The maintenance tunnel.
Yeah, we didn't use it. Yeah, you could have done a bunch of stuff while you were all waiting for Vogel to steadfastly hammer away this
there has
troll's
been
head.
a lot of gunfire, but we haven't killed any civilians. So yes, let's hide the Koschei mafia or the Brat Lava.
I mean, I'm just going to say it's only going to be a 1 increase thanks to the fact you did this in as isolated a way as possible. It is still a shootout in the middle of Central Park, and no matter how well you hide it, it's not like they're going to go, well, we tried. We had a look around, guys, and I didn't see anything.
There probably will be a lot of cases all over the place.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullet holes in everything. Yeah.
I'm curious. Can I spend intel to reduce heat?
You can.
Or is that only in downtime?
In downtime, you can do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that'll be for next time as you guys are being chased by the Wild Hunt again. Cool. I'm going to stop the recording, guys. If I can find the button for it. There we go.